What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Orlando Magic, and we're going to be looking at how this team could have the perfect offseason, and we're going to jump right into the video. Now, the Orlando Magic's offseason has already gone off to a really good start because they got the #1 pick in the draft, which means they get first dibs on all these wonderful draft prospects. And when I look at the Orlando Magic roster and I look at one thing that they really need, I think they need a go-to scorer. I think they need that guy that they can go to down the stretch and help them lift them over those burdens in late games. And we look at their team now, they have a lot of guys that have that potential. We look at Cole Anthony, who started off the season really strong, and all these guys we're about to talk about, they had a lot of great flashes this season that lasted for a long period of time. And Cole Anthony, at the beginning of the season, he peaked. He got off to a really hot start, and then he kind of got cold a little bit, but he showcased the skill set to be a prominent three-level scorer in this league. He was able to shoot the three ball. He was able to get to the mid-range. He was able to get to the rim and finish at the basket. It's all about consistency for Cole Anthony. Whenever he can put that together, he can be a far more valuable scorer in this league. He's just not there yet. And then we look at a guy like Wendell Carter, who peaked in the second half of the season. He averaged 15 and 11 for the whole season, and for the second half of the season, Wendell Carter averaged 17 points and 11 rebounds. So in the second half of the season, he took a big leap, and it seems like he's poised for a breakout year next season. And also, what I like about what I saw from Wendell Carter was the ability to stretch the floor. So we know Wendell Carter, he's going to give you that double-double every night, and he's still developing as a scorer. And then also Franz Wagner, he's coming off his rookie season, and he put up 15 points per game. He also seems like he has that tool set to be a very prominent scorer in this league as well. And what I like about Franz is that he's a very patient scorer, and he's not rushed, and also he can play off the ball. He can catch and shoot threes, and he's also good at cutting and getting to the rim. And with the ball in his hands, like I said, he doesn't get sped up. He's great at getting to the rim and finishing with both hands, and he's a very fundamental scorer. But out of those three guys, none of them are at a level of being an elite scorer yet. It's still going to take some time for them to develop. And the Orlando Magic, I think they're looking for that player that can score 20 points per game or more. And the only person to do that since Dwight Howard has left has been Nikola Vucevic. And they got to the playoffs when he put up 20 points per game and he was an all-star. So, and it's going to be easy. I wouldn't say easy, but they get a big help getting the #1 pick in the draft, because now they can look at who they won. We all know who the big three is in this year's NBA draft. It's Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, and Paolo Banchero. And I think out of those three guys right now, the best overall scorer coming into the draft is probably Paolo Banchero. He has the ability to score with the basketball in his hands. He can score in the post. He can run the floor, and he's also great off the offensive rebound. And he's not the best shooter out of these three, but it's something that I think he developed. And this is not to say that the other two don't have the potential to be elite scorers in this league. And that's why I think that the Orlando Magic should go with Jabari Smith. He might not be the scorer that Paolo Banchero is right now, but I think he has the potential to be an elite scorer. And I also like that he plays on both sides of the ball, and he's 6'10" with super long arms. And I think Jabari Smith just has a lot more things to offer right now. And I think when he comes into the league, immediately at the least, he's going to be a good 3-and-D player. But what I like about Jabari Smith is his three-point shooting prowess. We've never seen nothing like it before. A guy at his size, his length, to be able to shoot the three ball like that is very rare. And then also he has a lot of offensive upside to him. When he's really in the rhythm, he can put the ball on the floor. He can get to his spots. He can get to that mid-range. And once he rises up, it's damn near unguardable. And then also he's really good at getting to the rim and finishing with both hands. And a lot of people say that if Jabari Smith hit his peak, he could be a scorer like Paul George, Kevin Durant, one of the taller players in this league that can put the ball on the floor, play off the ball, create their own shot, get to that mid-range, create threes off the dribble, and get to the rim. So I think the Orlando Magic, I think they should take that bet on Jabari Smith, and I think that it'll pay off really well for them. Now, I think that's the primary. I think that should be the number one thing for the Orlando Magic, finding that primary scorer, finding that go-to guy down the stretch. And then after that, I think they need to address their backup center situation. They have the opportunity to let Mo Bamba walk or re-sign him this season. And if they don't re-sign him, their center depth chart would just be Mo Wagner and Wendell Carter, so it would be some depth to fill at that center position. Now, it's going to take some thinking for the Orlando Magic. I was reading it's probably likely that they're going to let him walk, and if they let him walk, this free agent class, it really isn't that strong, and some of the available backup centers that the Orlando Magic will have available to them are some pretty lowly cost, some pretty cheap veterans like JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard, and this could be good for the Orlando Magic because they're very cheap, and then they'll be adding veteran presence to this team. Both these guys have seen it all in the NBA. They know what it takes to win. They know how to get the job done, and then also Dwight Howard has played in Orlando before, so that could be a nice little nice little reunion. And also you got a guy like Thomas Bryant, and Thomas Bryant, he kind of fits the timeline of the Orlando Magic. He's still pretty young in the NBA. His career has just been derailed by injuries, so we don't know if that's a gamble that the Orlando Magic will want to take. But those three guys are just some guys for consideration for the backup center position. And then the other thing that the Orlando Magic need to focus on is probably just, I would say, wing shooting and wing scores. We look at their depth chart. They have their front court is stacked. Their power forward, center position, when you consider, let's just assume Jonathan Isaac comes back healthy. If they draft either one of those top three guys out of Holmgren, out of Banchero, or Jabari Smith, they draft one of those three guys, the front court is still going to be stacked. They still have Okeke, and then also they're pretty stacked at the point guard position when they have Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, Jalen and Cole Anthony. They're pretty stacked at the point guard position. So something that I think the Orlando Magic should look at is that 2-guard spot. But this is going to be really hard considering where they're at with the draft and this free agent class. And there is some guys that they can throw some max money to, like a guy like Zach LaVine. But I don't know if that's a direction that Zach LaVine or the Orlando Magic wants to go in this offseason, because they do have a lot of cap space that they can use. It's just the matter of how they spend it. But I think if they could re-sign a guy like Gary Harris, that'll be really good. He's good at shooting the 3-ball. And then when we look at the guards in this free agent class, it wouldn't be really anything beneficial for the Orlando Magic. Like a guy like Tyus Jones, he's really good. We saw how good he was with the Memphis Grizzlies last season, but he's another smaller guard in this league. So I think if the Orlando Magic, if they find that go-to scorer this season through the draft, I don't think they should look to do that through free agency, signing the max guy. I think they should look to build around one of those top 3 guys in the draft. I think they address that backup center position and then fill in some wing shooters and some more wing defenders, while also continuing to develop their young players, Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter, Markelle Fultz, Franz Wagner. I think the Orlando Magic are going to start to head in the right direction. So that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below what you think the Orlando Magic's offseason should look like, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.